got on full PJs. I'm gonna tell you, go look in my bathroom and get me a pair. Next time you put on the shirt and just listen, calm down. I know just listen. You're not listening. Put my shirt and then put on a t-shirt look, go get my jersey it's on top of the heater in my bathroom. And then go put this t-shirt on. Okay. Go put on. You gotta go put on the shirt. Go put on the t-shirt. Just one of your t-shirts. Let me see if I can.
Oh my gosh, Jerry. I need to change my background.
You
Hey,
ready?
this is the haters show. So I had to put that up. All the haters.
You good to go?
I think so.
Care?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. You want to get it started?
Alright. Gotta figure out how to take the music down. We're already live. Hold on. Lionel up. I was trying to take the music down. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Think I got you guys taken care of. Oh, well, welcome tonight, TV versus everybody. Got a little hang up there. Didn't have Lionel on to unplug the music for me. So, want to get started with the show and want to welcome everybody. Tonight we have the usual myself, Kerry Mickens, Coach Northern. We got Megan Reed and who's my guy? Oh, I'm covered up right here. Oh, got Ty in the back there. Okay, I couldn't see it. I had him covered up. Want to do our week 8 recap, but before that, we wanted to start off, understand with Megan and Coach Northern. You have your questions for Megan tonight.
Hey, I got a few questions, but before we get started, I'm gonna bring a special guest on. So look, this is my niece, Brielle McSwain. Look, and we always go trick or treating at Miss Reed them house, and we got it coming up, so we gonna be there again. But look, recently she goes to Swinky Elementary in Fairfield, not too far from the Prairie View campus, and she went dressed up as a female football coach. So I want to see if I can reach out to. I know Prairie View has a couple females in the athletics and in the strength and condition as well as on the coaching staff. So she's probably gonna come to homecoming with me. So I want to make sure that she has a chance to meet some real life female football coaches in person that look like her. So I want to just bring her on and see if Miss Reed or Coach Jackson, AD Golf, who was real nice to my guest that I brought to Baton Rouge this weekend. So I want to make sure I can try to get her on and so she can see some people and set some high goals for herself. So
I love it.
Hey, she said she might even bake them some chocolate chip cookies. So she usually does pretty good with that. So look, she getting ready to go to bed. So I'm gonna let her go. We're gonna move on. Let's talk about some football now. And hey, and some money that might be a little bit more important than football these days.
Oh gosh.
All right. So Miss Reed, like I say, first and foremost, a lot of people either realize or don't realize we do live right down the street from each other, and we talk a good little bit when we see each other in the neighborhood. So one of the things I want to talk about, like I say, a little bit is just going to come from a fan's perspective. Some of it may come from a coach's perspective, but in today's, I guess, landscape, from your opinion, no, let's go back. Let's introduce yourself and not assume that everyone knows what you do for the athletics. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to get to the fan, coach, AD / questions.
Sure. So for those that do not know who I am, I'm Megan Reed. I am now, you probably knew me if you worked with me before with Prairie View. I oversaw the foundation for the university, the Prairie View A&M Foundation. And back in April, we had a big reorg of how the foundation and university work together. And my position changed to now where I am fully overseeing athletics fundraising. So I am in-house in the athletics department. I oversee all fundraising for athletics. I love it. If you've looked at my background, that's been my entire pretty much career has been in marketing and fundraising for athletics in my entire career path. So it is my first love. So to be back in it is really amazing for me because that's just where my passion is, honestly. So. No.
All right. So I'm going to go back. All right. Let's get started. Full disclosure, I've been knowing Miss Megan Reed for a while. The first few years, I actually thought her name was Melanie. So when somebody told me they were talking about Megan Reed, I was looking confused, like, who are they talking about? Not knowing they're talking about you. So let's get on with the questions. All right. So the landscape of college athletics, not just football, has changed. In your opinion, how have things changed from a fundraising standpoint since the invention or the bringing on of NIL, in your opinion?
So NIL has brought a whole different landscape, right? Well, it more so just based on the laws and rules that have changed over time, right? For a while there, when it became a part of collegiate athletics, we as fundraisers or the university in general really were hands off. Like we didn't want to, nobody could touch it. It needed to be in those third party collectives. We could have nothing to do with it. As you've all seen, it has kept evolving and changing. Like felt like it was changing every month. The rules and everything were changing. And now all NIL can be in-house. So we can accept donations and everything in-house, internally. We can manage it. We can internally compensate our student athletes. So when that, when was that? Back in April when that new ruling came out, we instituted what we call our NIL funds, and we created NIL funds for every single one of our sports. So there's the football NIL fund, the bowling NIL fund. So if there are donors who want to support that effort, they can put their monies into those NIL funds above and beyond their excellence funds. So which is great because now we can manage it internally. It can go through our workflow systems with our compliance office, and then directly from the university, they will get compensated for what their NIL rev share agreement is. So that's a huge change because we used to not be able to do that. So that has brought a new element to our umbrella of what we oversee and fundraise for now. So
can you go into, I guess, a little bit of detail, just say for our basketball program? I'm saying because my son does go. So can you give maybe some examples, or are there incentives for just say making an all conference team, or what are the parameters for your NIL directors?
So what they are called is licensing agreements. And obviously you can't just flat out pay a student athlete. So there does need to be levels of things that they need to do in order to receive those. And it cannot be, and I wish my compliance person was on here, but it can't be, what's the word I want to use? performance based for on the field, like so many things. It can be like, hey, you're attending all your classes, you're attending all your study hall hours, you're at every weightlifting, you're doing maybe a PA for the Panther Athletic Fund for the video board, those type of elements to it. Because you still can't be pay for play, right? It still can't cross that element internally with us, with our licensing agreements.
Okay. All right. You guys have anything? I'm gonna come back with some more. I don't want to hog the conversation.
No, for me, as a former athlete myself, my question would be like, how are y'all going about as far as like dividing like the NIL funds between the sports? Like if somebody were to donate specifically for, or they don't have a specific sport that they're donating to, they may just donate just to the fund itself. How would y'all divide up the money from that aspect?
Yeah, so I mean, I think their full discretion obviously goes back to AD Goff, right? And what he thinks is the greatest need, the biggest priority with regards to that. But for the most part right now, a lot of people are giving to the sport that they want to support, like where their heart lies, that's what they're giving to. And in turn, that specific coach can decide who that is going to, and that they will divvy that up how they deem appropriate, whether that's with their current roster, but also thinking futuristically from a recruiting standpoint, once they get into that recruiting calendar of how they are utilizing that moving forward as well. So they're even learning this process too, of how they're balancing that. Like, how do you balance it with current players, but also making sure we're also utilizing those funds for future prospects down the road.
Okay. In your opinion, or from an athletic department point of view, what would you say are some of the top priorities when it comes to your fundraising incentives? Or
Sure. Listen, cash is king, right? And in this ever evolving environment, just sheerly 500,000 foot level, it's increasing our philanthropic funds and the number of donors we have. We have a huge gap we need to fill from an operating budget standpoint, and how we offset that is from our philanthropic funds. So every dollar, I don't care if it's $1 or if it's $1 million, it all counts, it all matters. And we have to start getting more people doing it, right? I always say this, even just Prairie View in general, I keep saying I feel like our philanthropic nature is very much in its infancy because we haven't necessarily had the structure here. And it's like, how do we start building that philanthropic culture here? And you want it to become like a domino effect, to the point where, you think about when you go to church and they pass the basket around, you need to put money in that thing. So like, how do we bring that and create that culture here from a philanthropic side on athletics, and in general, also across the university too. So really, in order for us to continue to compete at a high level, recruit at the high level, it's going to take championship resources. And it is going to take everybody. It's going to take a village. It can't just be me, and it can't just be you guys on this call. It's going to take a village of us to really do this together. So it's a lot, but really it's very simple in nature. It's money, it's cash, like literally, and it's getting more people involved with this, but also making sure people know what their dollar is going towards, and the impact that it has, and that your dollar is telling us that our student athletes are worth investing in, and that it's important, and the value of it. I don't want to just be transactional either. Like, I think for a long time there, people probably, like, they gave their money, they never heard anything, not even a thank you. And I hope within athletics, you guys start to see a huge change with, now that I'm in-house, whether it's handwritten thank you cards, if it's phone calls at certain levels. I have what's called the stewardship matrix. So depending on your giving level, there's certain things that will come with those giving levels, from like a phone call from a coach, or a handwritten card, or it might be an invite to AD suite, or field passes for a game, or, we started this new society, which is our Major Gift Society. And I hope more people learn about this, because I think there's a lot of you out here that could really be at this level. It starts at $25,000. However, it can be payable over 5 years. So think about it. It's $5,000 a year. That's the minimum threshold. But that is our Major Gift Society. And really what comes with, there are some benefits that come with that. Like starting next year, some of the benefits are we're going to do probably one of the first ever like corporate partner donor trips, and it'll be to the Baylor game. So we'll be a part of the team travel. You'll stay at the team hotel, like really getting you involved with our environment and having that personal touch so you can meet our student athletes, be with our coaches, be with our AD. There's really going to be a lot of engagement opportunities at that threshold. So I'm excited because we actually have a few that we're going to announce next week. I'm not going to say who they are on the call tonight, but I really hope it's a domino effect because you guys are going to start seeing these names come out. People are like, oh, what are they? What is that? And I hope it's like these conversations start happening like, oh, well, I got to do it if they do it.
Hey, well, we really would like to help pump that up, because I had an idea for one of the institutions that I dealt with of just say if you give $1,000, which to me it's a lot, but not a lot, depending on what are you doing,
Sure.
and just say I know somebody that can give me $80 Letterman jackets. So really, it's like you're giving $920, but in return for your gift, you get this Letterman jacket or Letterman-like jacket. And then when people see you with that jacket, they say, well, how did you get that? And the only way you can get that jacket is by donating to XYZ fund. So I think when you say those incentives, and I've been at schools that let certain people travel with the team, I think that's a big plus, especially once they get behind the scenes access, see what's going on, and then they can tell like, hey, we need to do this or help with that. And then the other thing is, like, you don't want to keep giving to that church fund and you don't see any new windows going up. So when people can see where their money is going in a quick fashion, I think that's going to help you all as well.
Yeah. And I think to your point, right? If I've learned anything over the 5 years, it's also, I've heard the T word, I call it trust in all capital letters. And it's showing you guys and building that trust too. Because I've heard old stories. I'm like, well, I don't know. I wasn't here. So all I can do is what I can do moving forward and make sure you know what your dollar's going towards. It is being spent for what your intended purpose is, and making sure we connect the dots. Like if you're supporting the bowling program, and making sure you see what those funds are supporting for the bowling program from the coach specifically, or something as simple, you're going to start seeing, actually baseball just launched it. We have a more internal crowdfunding website that we will start utilizing for our teams. Baseball just launched one. And that crowdfunding is for very specific things, right? It could be for equipment. So once that crowdfunding hits its goal, as soon as they buy whatever that crowdfunding thing is, we will be taking videos or pictures and making sure we send it to every single person, whether it was $1 or more, that, hey, this is because of you, and here it is, right? And it'll just continue to build that trust and engagement over time with everybody that gets involved with Prairie View athletics.
Yeah. And I like the engagement part too. That really makes it reciprocal. So I think that transparency and showing us what it is really key. Because the athletes get really excited to get that help. And I think that's the part that people don't see. They appreciate really anything, you donate to the training table and make sure that they have the fruit when they get dehydrated, things like that. They really seem to really appreciate.
Yeah. And I think it's important for those who do give to get to meet our student athletes, know the impact that they're having. But on the flip side too, make sure those student athletes and coaches know, like, sometimes as a student athlete, you're young, you don't understand that, like, oh, this just didn't come out of nowhere, right? Like, your scholarship just didn't come out of nowhere either. Like, specific gear they might be getting. Like, this is because of donors who believed in you, wanted to support your program. And it's us also making sure they know that story, because we also need to start that philanthropic culture while they're here, so that when they leave here, they understand that when we come to ask them when they leave here. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Like, we've just started this, right? We're still in our infancy, and I just hope, right, we got to stay consistent with it and make sure we're taking care of everybody who supports this program.
Have you noticed any particular, just say, an era that may be more supportive of what you guys are trying to do, or maybe have a negative connotation or remembrance of Prairie View, so they don't necessarily want to give their funds, because in some instances you may see someone that they didn't have, so they don't want to give. Have you seen some pushback, or is there a particular group that you say these people have really stepped up to the plate for us?
I don't know if it is a particular group. I think this is across the university, right? This isn't just athletics. I think it's just it goes back to that word trust. And that's from older folks to younger folks. I hear stories about this stuff. So that is upon us to make sure that we share with you what your money's going towards, and that we receipt you, that we thank you, and all that kind of stuff, because that wasn't necessarily being done before. And this is also something we're doing from a university advancement standpoint across campus, and making sure we do these things so we can continue to build that trust back up. Because I mean, even our new VP of University Advancement, Jeff Shaw, he'll go into meetings and you'll hear a story like, well, your money was here, we gave it to you, but then it didn't go anywhere. We didn't hear anything. We don't want that I don't ever want to hear that response. Yes. Ever. That is our goal. That should never be what's happening. The standard is making sure you guys all know what's going on with your money. And that's probably the biggest pushback. It's more historical from what I've experienced. Not necessarily anything in particular. But that stays with folks. And it's like, how do we attack that as a team here internally? And it's for us to just continually to do the things we're doing right now and stay consistent with it, and communicate, engage, thank people, make sure people know what we're doing with their money. If they have endowments, making sure they're getting endowment reports. It's just every little detail that we can continue to keep doing will just help chip away at that.
We have a question for the comments from Mr. Darius Malone. How does your role interact with the Tamar group?
Oh, yes. I love them. So I know they're Tamar, but they're really a part of our team. And I actually call it, I call it the Rev Gen team. That's what I've deemed our name, the Rev Gen team, the revenue team. And it's awesome because now I make a comment. I feel like we're now in the 21st century in athletics over here. We now have myself, whose sole focus is fundraising for athletics. And then we have Anton Calvin, who is our GM for corporate sponsorship. So his sole focus is to make sure we're going out to corporations and businesses and getting those sponsorship dollars. So separate from philanthropic dollars. So his sole focus is sponsorship dollars. And then we have Josh Weber, who is our director of ticket sales. And that will be his sole focus, is the director of ticket sales. Like, you call that ticket office now, he is in there. He's answering every call, email, everything. And the three of us together are now we're like a unit together, a well-oiled machine. We meet once a week, talking about what we need to work on, what do we need to be doing, we're already talking about next year, because a lot of things were already set in place for this year. So we're already talking about next year, like things like a new ticketing system, like just to make that experience so much better for the end users too. And what we can do from a corporate standpoint. Like, are there new things we could do with seating, add new seating options, all these different things that we could be doing. But they literally are part of the team. I know they're technically Tamar, but they're PV Athletics.
Yeah, so while we're looking at that, so you're thinking in the future we may have some ideas like seating in the end zone and things like that?
Yes. I mean, we have to think that way, right? Like, we got to start thinking about all the different ways we can increase revenue for athletics. And those are all avenues, but also bringing those amenities to everybody that you guys might all be looking for. I think we need to reevaluate all that stuff. Just because it's always been the way we've done something doesn't mean we should continue to do that. We really need to continue to evolve in this landscape. Still keep all of our traditions, but continue to evolve, relook at stuff. What can we be doing? What can we add? Do we need to take this away? Really relooking at all that stuff. And honestly, we would love everybody's feedback with what they're looking for too, from seating options or hospitality options, whatever those things are. I mean, we're always open ears, and if it makes sense, it makes sense.
Yeah, it looks like I have a question from Kelly. Hi, Ms. Reed. Mrs. Reed, let's set up a challenge with the Divine Nine. I guess we'd have to find out at the school who kind of heads up the Panalytic Council, but I guess that's kind of what his question is. Maybe getting them to help you with fundraising as well. And
Listen, I need everybody.
Mm.
Honestly, like I look at you guys, right? I can't just be one person doing this all. I look at all of you
Okay.
as ambassadors of Prairie View Athletics too. And the more you understand the Panther Athletic Fund, the easier it is for you guys to share the word. It's so easy for people to spread the word, give the giving link, share the QR code to give, or it's pvpanthers.com/PAF to the giving website. But we can do challenges down the road. I get where you're going with this, and the platform, we're actually going to probably be bringing it on, hopefully with the university here next year. It's called RNL Scale Funder, and that is where we can really segment our giving and do some challenges amongst people, so you can really see, like, hey, all the different groups of the Divine Nine, you guys are in a competition against each other to raise how much money, but you can see instantaneously, go to that page, see where you're at. You can have ambassadors for each of those groups. It's a really robust platform, but we can get to that level. We can't quite do it yet with the platform we have right now, but we're going to get there. But it's not to say you can't do it internally. Like you guys just started the
Run it up.
Run it up.
Listen, I love it. After every game now, I go to my work phone. I get instant emails. Like I have every online donation form for athletics. It instantly sends me an email every time someone gives. And I'm just like scrolling. I'm like, I love this. I'm like, this is so fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It started from an actual tweet. So that was really interesting because it was a tweet, and having such an interactive coach to answer the tweet. Usually those tweets kind of go by the wayside and nobody says anything, but he was bold enough to say, I understand what you're saying, but want to see something from your side too, and we'll give you something. And that's kind of how it was born.
It was super organic. I literally, when it first started happening, I'm like, why does my phone keep pinging? Literally, it kept like, I'm like, what is going on? And so then I scrolled, and then I was like, oh, and then I'm like, let me go to social media real quick. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah. Ms. Reed, I'm gonna go to my last quote unquote question with a suggestion for, people have a lot of ideas. What is the best way if they don't have the cash, as we say, to give? What is another way that the regular alumni can help the athletic department if they don't, say they may not be making a lot of them, but it may be at a company that can help? What are some ways?
For sure. Listen, right? It's what you feel comfortable giving. And it doesn't necessarily, and it may not always be cash, right? We want that. But there's also other amazing ways that alums, fans of the program, supporters of the program can get involved. There's a lot of people I work with today. I call them champions of the program. And it's because they do work with a business or they know someone over here and they're connecting us with people that we need to get in front of, or that AD Goff needs to get in front of, or that Coach Jackson needs to get in front of. And they're making that connection. Or it's like we've had people that aren't necessarily, they don't have the means to give, but they're sending their company like, hey, we need to get them involved with Anton Calvin with corporate sponsorships because I know my company can do it. They love being involved in athletics. This is the person you need to connect with. So they're giving us the person that we need to connect with, which is so valuable. So that's why I call them their champions of the program, because they really champion PV with their companies or their businesses or whatever that may be. So those are all ways people can give back to. That's not necessarily monetary too.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I got one. So obviously with our stadium being, a phenomenal stadium that we have we looked at any ideas as far as like possibly hosting any high school playoff games that can help boost those athletic funds as well and give us more exposure to our athletic facility and everything like that?
Sure. I actually know it's already been talked about because I know that became a thing last year. a very big thing. So I already know that is on the calendar. And it's like, I just got an email actually today from our operations team saying we need to keep this on the calendar for possibly is it November, I think, when playoffs start?
Yes.
I think so. That's it's already in talks. So listen, I hope that becomes a real thing this year. That would be amazing. Because to me, that's a university-wide endeavor from a recruiting standpoint, getting people on this campus. Like even like just like what Coach Jack did with what's the Houston fight? Yes, fight Houston. That was amazing having that on campus. That exposure, like pretty much every person you talk to there, like the parents were all there with them too. They're like, we've never been out here. We've never been on this campus. We didn't know there was this kind of stadium here. And it was just that exposure to Prairie View, like getting them just on the campus was so powerful. It was so powerful. I can't even tell you how powerful that event was alone, having all those folks out here from all the different high schools in the Houston area. So big.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially from, some of the top high schools in the area. You had Tassida, North Shore, a lot of these schools that have a lot of recruits and things like that. It definitely gave a whole lot of exposure. So I was excited when I saw that. They were taking pictures in the weight room and things like that. So it was a great turnout for sure.
It was amazing. That was one of the coolest things ever.
Well, Ms. Reed, I want to make a push. How can we get? I'm not saying how can we get, but it's almost. I would like to make a rule that if you come on campus for homecoming, you have to buy at least maybe a $5 or $10 ticket. Is that against the law, or can we do something like that? I don't know.
Everybody that's on that campus on Saturday better be in the stadium. Like I was joking with these guys earlier. If anybody's listening, I said if I hear one more person tell me they're gonna be there, but they're just gonna be sitting outside and not in the stadium, I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Look, I always laugh. I think I was at the Dallas game, and I heard somebody say, "I'll see you at homecoming," but there's some games in between the Dallas game and homecoming. So yep. I went to school at Southern. I take a hard time for bashing Prairie View fans, but I look at it. My wife had this conversation about let's do what we can to fill the stands. Number one, the kids deserve it.
Yes,
you're putting a good product on the field. The kids deserve it. Number two, the coaches deserve it, and the university deserves it. So everybody that's listening, talk to somebody about buying a ticket to the game, even if they're not interested. Buy a ticket and give it to somebody else to go if you don't go. So that's my push, and hope I help you do your job a little bit because I want to see that stadium packed.
Listen, Josh Weber will take care of anybody and everybody if they call the ticket office or reach out to the ticket office at Prairie View. He will get Listen, we need like a bullhorn or something the 30-minute mark that tells everybody out there in the grass lots, RVs to get in.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
I support that 100%.
Me too.
Oh man.
Well, Ms. Reed, if the guys don't have any more questions, I want to thank you for your time and for answering our questions. Hopefully we didn't, sucker punch or sneak one in or catch you off guard. But I just want to say thank you on behalf of Lionel and PV versus everybody and all the former student athletes and the current student athletes that you guys will help clothe, feed, house, do whatever while they're a student athlete or student at Prairie View A&M University.
Yes, sir. And from the bottom of my heart, like literally, thank you for having me on. And thank you. This is just a message to everybody who has and continues to support PV Athletics. It really means a lot. And it is like, I'm a product too of being a student athlete. I was a former student athlete. I believe in this. I didn't go here. I didn't grow up down here in Texas, but I believe in what we are doing here at Prairie View. And I love what is happening here. And it just means so much to everybody that is supporting. Bring more people on. We need more people. We need it to be a domino effect to just keep growing and growing and growing. Because this place, I keep telling people, I just feel like this place, it's just ready to gold mine. It's just ready to explode. And it's right there. And we just need to get over that. And like, I'm so ready for it. It's exciting to be a part of this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, you guys. This was awesome. I'll be back on anytime.
All right.
And if anybody's listening, you can call me, reach out to me anytime. I am happy to talk to anybody who's interested in supporting PV athletics in any way possible. Really.
Thanks.
Yay!
Let's see.
Do we get to end it and go pay? You guys are going to still talk though. I was going to end it.
Yeah,
with
we're
go
gonna talk a
Packers
little
or
bit more
something.
football. Hopefully, look. Hopefully,
Well,
we don't have
listen,
to
I'd
talk
love to
about the
do that.
homecoming last weekend too much, but I'm looking forward to it. So,
Listen, let's pack the stands this weekend for sure.
yeah,
So thank you,
definitely come
guys.
out. Thank you.
thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Maybe she can click herself. All right.
All right. Okay, guys. I would be remiss if we didn't mention our host. Lionel's not here, but we're gonna take the reins the best we can, and like to see get you guys' thoughts overall of the weekend, and then we can dive into the games themselves.
Well, I wasn't gonna spend a whole lot of time on a lot of games, to be honest with you. So I looked at the Grambling and Pine Bluff game. Everybody know my sister went to school at Grambling. I coached there for a good while, and they pulled one out late. So I would say I was happy for them, but Pine Bluff struggled in the passing game, really caught up. I think they were 12 or 30 and may have thrown 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And that pretty much gave the game back to Grambling. I want to say they were 3 of 16 on 3rd and 4th down conversion. So anytime you below that 25% mark, unless you have a low number, it's going to be hard to win football games. So Grambling did pull one out. I'm not sure how cooler or how much cooler Coach Joseph Seat got, but that was big for Grambling. So I don't know if did you get a chance to look at some numbers or
yeah, I'm looking at them.
what do you guys thought?
Trying to see.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I mean, both teams struggled right on 3rd down efficiencies. Right, you had Grambling 5-14 on 3rd down, and you had Pine Bluff 3-14. So both these teams struggled on 3rd down, and even with Christian Peters right now, Christian Peters, right? He had 3 interceptions this game. 12 for 30 for only had 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. You know what I mean? When you turn the ball over, that's what happens, right? You're giving the Grambling offense a chance to continue to go. And I didn't really watch this game, but I mean, just based off the stats by themselves, I mean, you can see Grambling scored only 6 points in the 4th quarter, but it still wasn't enough. Grambling scored 6 points in the 4th quarter, and Pine Bluff scored 9 points. It wasn't enough to get the win. So I mean, I still think Mickey Joseph's probably done at Grambling after this season, but that's just me personally. But I mean, it's always good to get a win. You know what I mean? So.
All right.
Yeah, and that one was interesting because I flipped back to the other game because I thought I didn't realize the 6 points from Grambling. I guess that one came late because I didn't see that last 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the game. I just looked at the stats because I was calling Southern's and Prairie View game, so I didn't see it. But I'd say the blowout games I really don't look at, and some games, to be honest with you, I pretty much don't care about. So I just looked at the Grambling Pine Bluff game. The next game that I looked at was the Florida A&M and Alcorn game.
Oh man, this one right here was.
Yeah.
This one, they almost played hot potato with who wanted to win.
Yeah.
It was. I thought Alcorn had that game. Actually, had picked them to win, even though, they brag different down there. But I guess they're bragging now because they won homecoming. But it wasn't easy. As you can see, Johnson had a pretty good passing night. And he threw only 1 touchdown, but 323 yards. They were really moving the ball. and Tolbert had an okay game. I didn't see all of this game to see where there were some mistakes made that turned this game. It looked like the Russian attacks were pretty even, but they let me go see if it tells me the team stats. And you can see that the first downs, Florida A&M really were getting those first downs. So, and they were 2 for 2 on fourth down. So it looks like they just had no intentions of punting. They just wanted to win. And it looked like their completions were a little longer than Alcorn. So other than the passing game, they were pretty even. Penalties, they were pretty close, but time of possession was a big one. And I'm surprised that they had that better time of possession, being that they were throwing a lot and the rushing yards was kind of even. Usually with that time of possession bigger, you get a better rushing game. So I think that was the only ones I watched too. Was did you guys watch any of those other than ours? The FAMU and the Texas Southern game. I did. Well, the Texas Southern game I didn't watch, but the Grambling UAPB game, that one was interesting. I didn't know how bad Grambling won it, so it was pretty good. So, do you guys have any comments on the FAMU game before we exit out of that one?
Now, I just saw FAM had almost 500 yards of offense. So, anytime you can get that many, especially if you're not turning the ball over, you give yourself a chance to win. So I thought that was pretty big. But other than that, like I said, I didn't see it, so I can't really speak too much on it. But like I said, we can move on to the next one as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Favorite one, homecoming. All right, Prairie View once again was invited to homecoming on the Bluff. Not sure why they would do that 3 times, but I guess they found out we're not the best homecoming guests. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this game as we go into the? I call this game is you guys hadn't done anything yet. Wait till you get the Southern game. So, because I heard a lot of podcasters say, like they say every week, well, PV hasn't proven anything. They win, but they don't look good. When they get to Southern, Shakelby Givens is going to get in the business, and they're not going to be able to win. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this game?
I'm going to let him go first because I might be a minute.
I'm going to be quick. Don't worry. For us, we just came in there and did what we were supposed to do, right? We went to a hostile environment. It was their homecoming, and we did what we were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? We went in there and got the win. You know what I'm saying? If y'all didn't see the post-game interview that Tremaine Jackson had, I suggest you watch that because he did a very good description of, how he was feeling. But I think that we went up in there and did what we were supposed to do. Now, I still don't believe that we have played a complete football game yet. There's still some things on the offensive end that we still need to work on. But Chase Bigman was big in this game, right? And then McDowell with the 2 touchdowns as well. And for them to only score 3 points at their homecoming, I mean, shout out to the defense, man. They was doing what they were supposed to do. It doesn't matter who's on the offensive side for Southern, right? Also they have the running back Trey Holly, right, and things like that. But for us to be able to do what we had to do in a hostile environment and come out with this win at their homecoming, I don't know what else. And what's interesting to me was the road team has won the last few times that PV and Southern have played. So hopefully next year we could end that and we actually win at home. But now this was a great game. We're 4-0 in the SWAC West, so we put ourselves in a very comfortable position to compete for the SWAC championship for sure.
Look, the reason why I said it might be I was gonna be a while. It was a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. First of all, so I ordered my wife, her sister, her cousin, and my daughter. I ordered them all, and Adam. I ordered all of us different jerseys. So my wife's all the Southern jerseys came. None of my Southern jerseys came, and my son's Prairie View jersey didn't come. Well, it came, but we get an announcement. You get the ding about an hour before kickoff. Hey, your shirts have arrived. So I thought that was a bad omen from the get-go. But look, I don't know who that is. So you guys know my son is a freshman at Prairie View. So he took about 5 other kids. They stayed at my dad's house, and my dad lives 5 miles from Southern's campus. They go up, and my dad cooks for them. We go tailgate. We have a great time. But I want to say thank you. We had Mr. Roosevelt Huggins on the show last week. We go to the Prairie View. I take him around some spots on campus, but we go to the Prairie View tailgate, and we run into AD Golf, some of the former football players that played during the time that I was there. One guy that was a couple guys that played before me. But I want to say thank you to those people, in particular, Mr. Golf or AD Golf and Mr. Huggins, for letting those kids come by and sort of see like, hey, this is the way we do it from time to time as members of Prairie View. And they welcome those kids in. But the game itself, I call the game for Mike Prince on the Open Mic Network and on YouTube. I said the first team to 18 was going to win this ball game. And it looked like Prairie View got stuck on 17 after halftime until the last TD of the game. But it was a defensive struggle, some offensive, I would say, inefficiency. But I keep telling people the running game and defense travels. A win is a win. You could say it's an ugly win, but it's a win. You can correct a lot better when you win football games. But Southern sort of couldn't get out of, even though they may have had a better, I would say, third down conversion than Prairie View. But I'm looking at that comment. Man, my sister, can somebody please adopt my sister even though she's grown? Hey, that's funny right there. I'm not going to lie. But just throughout the game, you can see some misfires, maybe from both offenses.
Yeah.
And that's the key to some of the games. But anytime you can run it and not turn the ball over, you can stop the run when both teams know you're going to run, or you can run it when both teams know you're going to run. I think that's the key to winning football for Prairie View. And I told somebody in Baton Rouge the other day, 1993, Pete Richardson first year at Southern. We won a lot of games in this fashion. Some close games, some games that we should have lost. The other team, we block a punt or something like that for a safety, and it'd be the difference in the ball game. So it's different thing. When you can keep winning those games, you almost get this belief that as long as we don't beat ourselves too bad, if they let us hang around, we're going to find a way to win, or they going to find a way to lose. And this team reminds me of that team. Not the most spectacular play, but it's a team win. And I don't care how you cut it up, that's going to take you far because your confidence gets higher and higher. The only thing you would like to put some separation so it's not always as tense, to give yourself some separation and some breathing room, because you don't want to let the wrong team stay in a close game. Now their confidence gets up where, hey man, they ain't knocked us out yet. We might can beat this team. So that's what, when you see Coach Jackson talking about some things to clean up, that's what he's talking about, the third down efficient. Some of the easy pass that was dropped that would have been a first down, or a wide open throw that's a yard or two short. So it's different things like that coaches always want to clean up, and players see where, man, I could have done this just a little bit different. So that's my talk on the game, and I'll get off of the but I thought it was a good environment to say it was raining, and then that storm at the end, it was nothing but mandatory people that had to be in the stadium, because it was coming sideways for a minute.
Yeah, and you know what? The storm was poetic to me because it didn't start until Coach Jackson's interview. So the interview reminded me of that game, even though it was 24-3. that was a nice grungy game. It's like all you needed was a pick or a fumble, and your fortunes would have changed. And it was just fighting it out on the bluff. I mean, people that say what they want about Southern's team, the score don't really reflect how hard they really fought that game.
Look, and you talk about opportunity. So I looked at one play. Southern is driving the ball, and they have a quarterback, running back fumble on the exchange. I firmly believe if the quarterback pulls that ball, Southern may score. He's gonna get deep into the red zone. That'll change things. Kelby Givens, he has a chance to intercept it. If he intercepts that pass, that may be a pick six. So, like I say, sometimes you have to have some fortune on your side, whether you turn the ball over or don't turn it over. But like I say, man, defense travels, running game travels. I don't care if it's cold, raining, windy. If you can run the ball and stop the run, you can win a lot of football games. And people don't want to hear it. They want to see all these formations, shifts, speed sweeps, double, triple reverses. Nah, man. Big people hitting hard. And I kept telling people, and I hate to dominate, but when I look at McDowell and Bingham run, a lot of times when people hit them, they end up going backwards.
Yeah.
So it's accumulation of rear punches and kidney punches that make other teams not be able to tackle those guys in the fourth quarter.
Right. And it's in alignment. And I think the lack of mistakes have helped because you've seen, like I've seen, PV teams of the past. People joke me about always bringing up Ben Stewart's name, and most fans have no clue who that is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the long snapper we've had the last 3 years. And I'm telling you, I haven't seen, except for, I think, did Sable play for you, Coach Northern? I can't remember.
Yes, Joe Sable was our deep snapper all 4 years I was there.
Yeah, he was really good. And
yes.
He reminds me of that guy because, not to jinx him, but he hasn't missed an extra point, field goal, or punt over the head or dribble it on the ground or anything.
Yes.
And people don't have no clue how important that position is that nobody knows his name.
But I can tell you a little bit of difference, though, and this goes to the depth issue. So just say a lot of times at a SWAC school, Prairie View or Southern Grambling, we have to put those guys on scholarship, where at a lot of schools, traditionally your deep snapper, your short snapper, your punter, and maybe your field goal kicker or walk on. So that means those scholarships can be given to defensive lineman, offensive lineman, a backup linebacker, another special teams guy. So we were fortunate to get Joe, the Chris Barracks, all those guys, but we had to put them on scholarship. But Joe was worth every bit of scholarship money that he got in those 4 years. And I'm pretty sure he's moved back to the College Station area. I'm pretty sure you'll see him and Chris Barrett, the Brady Faggots, all those guys back on campus. So and then those guys were Adam's favorite players because during practice, that's who he hung out with. That's who he went to the cafeteria with. Look, that's who he sat on the bus with most of the time, the kickers, the punters, and the deep snappers.
Yeah, I remember Kicker Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, he's something. I see him on Twitter sometimes. So,
he's a high school coach in the Houston area.
Oh, okay. That's why I see him on Twitter. Yeah, he's been following. I hope he comes up and catches a game. But, yeah, I wanted to – and the weird thing is my comment on the game is, yeah, Southern rushed for 166, but they didn't see the end zone. And I'm trying to remember out of a lot of our SWAC wins, other than the Jackson State running backs. I may be wrong, but I think we've already faced the top rushers in the SWAC, and none of them had the numbers that they had against other teams. We haven't seen Holtzclaw yet from Alabama State.
Yes, I've seen him. He is a lot like the Holly kid from Southern. He may be a little bit bigger, but he runs very similar. And the thing about his runs, the field is going to be much more spread out when they play, because sometimes Alabama State, they'll stack two receivers almost sideline to sideline, stacked behind each other. So you have to pick your poison. Am I going to cheat the box and try to, get back in on the run? And then if you do, Body's going to throw a quick pass, or am I going to play coverage? And then you definitely going to have some running lanes. So you got to pick your poison against those guys.
Yeah. So, that was a great game. And the other thing that kind of got it with that game was they said Prairie View can't throw the ball, but the passing was 224 to 81. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Even in the rain.
Yeah, and it was an off and on rain, but I thought Cam should have had maybe three more complete, threw a couple passes either off his back foot or with his feet planted flat. I would say the technique wasn't the best, but he was hitting some guys, and then he moving the pocket, get him on some rolls. He's not just going to be sitting in one spot. So I thought that was good, but I guarantee if you ask him, he'll say I probably should have completed maybe 3 to 4 more passes. It may have been 2 drops mixed in there and a couple throwaways, but he was efficient, but he would still say, man, I could have played a little bit better. And Southern, on the other hand, I saw Southern's quarterback overthrew 2. I thought maybe should have been touchdowns, but he just, you got a kid that hadn't been there long, not well versed in the offense, trying to play, and made a couple throws. But like I say, you're not going to win a lot with 81 yards passing unless you're one of the military academies running triple option football.
Right.
Yeah, for me, for me, it was simple, man. Cam did what he had to do, and one thing about this football team, we're not the flashiest in any area, not in the offense, the defense, or special teams, but they get the job done. We've seen at the Grambling game, Tevin Carter was the one, that got us the win. But in this one, we've seen how he's able to switch between Cam and Tevin Carter, and he's able to adjust and get the wins. And that's what good coaching does, right? He's able to adjust based off of the players that you have. And so kudos to the coaching staff and Tremaine for being able to knowing how to use their players the right way and being able to get this win. And like I said, the offense still has some humps in the road, but I definitely see them getting better every week. And that's something that's going to be needed. And I think a really big test is going to come when we play Alabama State. I'm pretty excited for that game, to being at home and just seeing how we'll do against Alabama State in a couple weeks. But we do got Lincoln this week for homecoming. So.
Yeah, and I think also the quarterback not being familiar, but also the defensive backs playing well. They've been really limiting passing yards as well. And Prairie View is starting to be, which I didn't see last year, a little more, the podcaster haters, they're going to not believe this, but the offense may not stretch the field, but those big tight ends we have become options in the passing game. And a new wrinkle I saw against Southern is involving Bingham in the passing game, because just when you think you're going to get a good lick on Cam Peters and flatten him, Bingham slips away and he puts such a touch on it that Bingham didn't have to slow down or anything. And him in the open field is not much fun for the defensive back.
I thought there was a couple pretty good play calls. I call it Colorado, where they put him to the weak side, look like a whole lot of slants, and bring him back out to the strong side. And now you can have a good defense, but now they have to communicate and pass off, and that's extremely hard to pass off in that situation. But it was a couple good calls. They caught Southern trying to bring some pressure. That's one of the best calls you can have, bringing a running back or wide receiver from one side of the field to the other. And it's not a hard throw. It's not a long throw. But, man, if you complete that pass, You can get a lot of yards on that. But I thought there was two timely calls that turn a short pass into a long pass. So there was some good calls by the offensive staff in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good coming off the bye for sure. They definitely look pretty good coming off the bye.
Yeah, and they definitely brought a new wrinkle with starting Cam. That let them know that they didn't know what we would run or not now because of starting Cam. You know, he can get away from you with his leg, but he prefers to throw, so that kind of throws the defense off a little bit. But and even though you know that Kevin Carter's gonna run, he's so big that doesn't help you much. If he goes back to pass, he'll complete the pass on you. But if he decides to run, you know, it ain't much fun for a cornerback to tackle that guy. So that's either way, it's tough. You know, nobody talks about our quarterbacks because everybody say we're not good, but that's a tough combination to deal with. You know, a running back that can throw the ball is a tall running back, which is Carter. So, did you guys have any closing thoughts on this game before we get to the Northern Light?
I don't.
Nah, I'm good. I mean, we did what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Happy homecoming to Southern. Now it's our homecoming.
You said that was all. All right. Let's see. Oh, he said starter shouldn't play much. All right. Let's see where we got. Here we go. All right, Coach, we're going to have you up next for Northern Light.
So, look, this week, I'm going to talk about, we talk about Prairie View's defense. I was a defense coordinator when we won the championship in the 2009 season, which seemed like decades ago. But I'm going to talk about some of the best defensive players that I have seen at Prairie View that I coached or just naked eye seen. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those guys real quickly. I'll put Zach East at number one, even though we had a couple guys that led the nation in different categories. And I saw Zach in Baton Rouge this weekend, just seeing Zach East at middle linebacker who finished in the top in the nation, not the SWAC, in the nation in tackles 2 years in a row. And he wasn't the most athletic guy, but he knew how to protect himself. I would just say, Zach, you can call whatever you want D-line wise and protect yourself and just let you run football sideline to sideline. So we were what we call a box and spiel team. So we would try to force the ball outside, and our next guys coming outside, basically to send the ball back to Zach, and he's going to be there to make a tackle. So I got to put Zach East probably as my number one defensive player that I have seen at Prairie View. The next one would be Adrian Hamilton, who now Zach didn't get a chance to play in the pros, but Adrian Hamilton has a Super Bowl ring with the Baltimore Ravens. He was on the team when the lights went out. Jacoby Jones had the kickoff return for a touchdown. I want to say that game was played in New Orleans. But Adrian Hamilton actually got to us from a high school coach that I knew at Grambling that went to school at Prairie View, Dallas area guy, said, hey, man, I got this kid that might be transferring from Texas Tech. And when he got there, his name was Tech 9 because that's what he wore at practice. But look, pass rushing Jesse right there and tackle for loss guy. A lot of times guys can rush the passer, but they're not good in the running game. So Adrian Hamilton led the nation in sacks. I want to say it was his senior year at Prairie View. Another guy, Jerome Howard, who's still in the Houston area. Jerome Howard played linebacker for us, and Jerome led the nation in tackles. I want to say his junior year, and his senior year, he finished in the top 5 in the nation in tackles. He was a very athletic kid, not the biggest kid, had great understanding of football, and he could play, my brother tells his joke when he was in the NFL. He only knew what he was supposed to know. He couldn't tell you what any. But Jerome could play Sam Mike Will. You could put him at safety if you wanted to, but we played him at linebacker. But Jerome is one of the best linebackers that I have seen at Prairie View. Then the next one, Moses Ellis led the nation in interceptions. I want to say his junior year. And Moses was a great punt returner out of Everman High School. But we could say we put him on one side of the field, but he could play both. And I'll never forget, this is the only negative about Moses. One game, I think we were playing Mississippi Valley, and they have a receiver that's sort of going off on the other side. So Coach Frazier said, hey, man, put Moses over there and let this other guy switch side. The first play that Moses goes to the other side of the field, they end up going deep on him. So all you hear Coach Frazier saying on the headset is, wow, just the way that he's saying it. So that was sort of funny. But Moses was one of the better. He had the best hands probably of any DB, and he probably could have played receiver, but we just liked him so much as a corner. We left him over there. But Moses was a great corner for us. I got a couple guys I'm going to throw out there. Quentin Spears, who played with the Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns, came to us as a wide receiver. And I talked before about, Marquise was on last week or 2 weeks ago about taking offensive guys and putting them on defense. Quentin was another guy that started off at offense. He probably could have played, but wasn't a fast guy. Hey, man, come over here, chase that Brown thing, go get some sacks. And he played himself into an NFL football player. And I'll never forget this huddle call over Miami week. And Quentin and Anthony Beck, the next guy Beck wasn't even supposed to go, but one caused the fumble, the other recovered the fumble against Alabama A&M in the championship game. That's how we got the ball back to get the eventual score. Then Krista Dingapoo was another safety for us who got into some training camps, bounced around the NFL for a while. And then the last guy I had to put was Dalvin Nettles, who was one of the better players. He was a defensive lineman. I want to say he's an assistant principal in the Spring area coaches middle school ball, but he would do everything you asked him to do. He probably wasn't going to make all swag, but when you look at the grade of the film over 4 years, he probably never graded, I would say, less than 90. Wasn't going to have a lot of sacks, wasn't going to have a lot of tackles for loss, but he was going to make sure the Zach East, the Jerome Howards, all those guys made the plays that they need to play. And I didn't go into some of the guys that I didn't coach, the Bells and some of those other guys that are maybe in the Canadian League playing football now. But I just went through guys that played during the championship time and, like I say, some football playing Jesses that was some of the better football players. I know I'm probably going to get a call from a couple guys that I left off the list, or when I see them at homecoming, Coach, why you ain't say me? And then I'm going to have to be brutally honest with them why I didn't say that. So it'll be all right at the end of the day.
I did that right. Put us back. All right.
Hey.
Put us back.
Hey, look, they probably gonna mess with you because my wife is an engineer, so anytime she can't fix something, I always mess with her about, come on, how you an engineer and can't fix this?
That's the thing.
Whoa, what you on us engineers now?
Yeah, I put us back somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I think we're back on there. So yeah, that was a good review. Appreciate you getting us in there. I remember all those players. And I think, did you mention Anthony Beck? I thought he was pretty good too.
Yeah. Look, so on the play, I always tell people over Miami week. Miami is we called it. It was supposed to weak safety and the wheel linebacker blitz. Beck wasn't supposed to go, and the guy that's narrating or commentating on the game, like, man, he came from 12 yards deep. And Beck said, like, Coach, I owed you. He missed a tackle when we played New Mexico State. He said, Coach, I owed you from that game. He said, I knew I was going to make a play because they didn't think I was coming. Then he goes back there and, like I say, pretty much makes one of the biggest plays in the history of Prairie View football. And we end up winning the SWAC championship because of that play. Him and Quentin Spears, though.
Oh yeah, Quentin Spears. Yeah, he was. And yeah, Spears was. He was a lean defensive end, but boy, he was rangy and tough to get away from.
Hey man, I call him a greyhound. If you look at him, you know he probably could live to be 80 years old and never be fat. You know, he's one of those type of kids. But the thing about Quentin, sometimes we had a package called Four Horsemen, where we just took the best 4 pass rushers on the team and put them at the defensive line. Sometimes Quentin would ask to go and line up over a guard because he would say, Coach, all the guards have short arms. I can grab them and pull them whichever way I want to go, and they can't match my speed. So that's the way he thought about football as a kid that came from wide receiver to end up, you know, making some of the biggest sacks, playing himself into the NFL for a couple of years.
Yeah, just like Bell, Quentin. Yeah, he's back and I think he's back on the active roster now. Bell is.
Yes, because he was a wide receiver too that ended up playing defense, but the speed and the athleticism, and I would always take offensive guys that might not be able to catch, might be the 4'6" or 4'7" receiver, and say, man, come on here, play defense, and let your athleticism go to work.
Yeah, because people may not know that Bell, he was a freak athlete. T.O. was trying to train him, and he was running.
Now he was fast. Now,
he could run. He was huge, but could run under a 4.4. He was really a different kind of athlete. So let's see. Did you guys have any thoughts on our upcoming homecoming game? I guess there's not much to think on it, I guess.
Look, you know, you talk about your training, man, you might could get some snaps in this week. Hey,
my cleats right over there.
Hey man, this thing might get uglier than on Esther, Coach. I'm telling you.
Oh wait, don't say that, Coach. They might not catch the bus and come if you say that.
Well, I apologize, but it might get ugly up in there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, hopefully, Ty, you got some cleats hanging around? Maybe you got any eligibility left?
I don't think I got an eligibility left, but I mean, you know, if it's needed to, you know, I could do a little something, you know, just let me do a go route or something like that, you know, and I'll just catch one. But no, I mean, I don't see our starters being in this game for this long. You know, the biggest thing is it's pack the stadium out. You know what I mean? I think it'll just be a good environment. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing everybody on campus and just stacking that stadium out, man. Because like was said earlier, man, like this is a good football team. This is a brand new team, brand new staff, man, and they came in and really did a whole huge impact, a huge overhaul of this whole team. And so it'll be just great to just see the support from everybody out on our campus, man, in that stadium, man. So the biggest thing for me is just, you know, filling up the stadium. But I feel like the product itself is gonna take care of everything, you know what I mean, by the end of the first quarter. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments in terms of the turnout for the game just being one of the better ones, and then just sort of keeping that train rolling. I keep saying, man, the students, those football players, even the students that's sitting in the stands deserve to see a game where everybody can talk about in 10, 20 years from now. Man, remember that game we had where it was hardly anywhere to sit? And I can talk about, you know, games that I played. So we were broadcasting the game, and I'm telling, we passed by the football dome, which is next door to the football stadium at Southern. I remember my dorm was right by where my dorm room was right by where the students came in the game. I can remember getting ready to go to pregame meal, and it's already people in line. We were getting ready to play Steve McNair and Alcorn Braves to see who was going to pretty much be the SWAC champion. And you talk about a literal buzz in the air. It sounded like electric lines were running outside of the stadium. And it was one of the biggest games that I can ever remember. So I want the Prairie View student athletes to be able to say, man, do y'all remember that game where we couldn't hardly get to the stadium on the Panther Walk because it was so many people out there? And then, man, they didn't have anywhere to sit. They had to sit on the hill by the scoreboard or the back where the activity building is, the field house. They had people there 5 rows deep. So that's what I want for the guys at Prairie View to have that experience. That's why I always talk about, people think I'm bashing the fans, but I just want the kids, the students, to be able to talk about it with a passion, like I can talk about it with a passion for my school. And those guys, that's the guys in 10 or 15 years now, especially with the transfer portal, that you're going to come back to, and Lord forbid they win a championship. Hey, man, 10 years from now, let's have a reunion. Oh, and everybody give $1,000, $10,000, and let's make a big donation to the school. That's how all this stuff get rolling. So that's the way I look at it. I'm always looking at it from a business standpoint and from a student athlete experience standpoint, because I live that. That's why I am the way I am.
Yeah, I mean, for me, being a recent student athlete, right? Graduating last year, but even though I wasn't in football, just seeing like the support in the stands does a huge confidence booster to all of us student athletes. You know what I'm saying? It just gives us an extra boost of confidence to be able to go out there and compete at the highest level. You know what I mean? So I mean, like I said, this, the student athletes have been putting the work in throughout this whole year, throughout the summer as well. And I think they just deserve it, man. We're having a great year, and we have these huge aspirations of what this program can really do. But it's going to take us coming together as alumni, students, student athletes, and everybody coming together and really just showing this football team that we're behind them and we're supporting them throughout this whole new era of PVME football.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that. And don't forget, I don't know where Lionel put the QR code, but don't forget the Run It Up challenge. It's all
Run It
over
Up.
social media.
24.
Yeah, we got 24 points this week. Might have to bring the wallets for next week. Might have to take out a loan or something.
Hey, look, I'm gonna be messy. We gonna change it from 24 to 240. I'm gonna help Miss Reed out. So get your bucks up if you wanna be on this Panther train to wherever it's going. Get your bucks up. Put some money in them in the pot, and let's go.
Let's go. So with that, if you guys don't have any other subjects, I couldn't remember if you had it under the headset. I thought we were gonna do that next week.
So next week, I'm gonna probably put in what we call the easiest RPO in football history. It is, if you could count the 5, it's almost if you could count the 1, you could play quarterback at Prairie View in this offense. Now, I'm not talking about what they're doing right now, but in this offense, if you could have counted to 1, is it a free safety in the middle of the field? It's going to tell you everything you need to know. But I'm going to put in one of the easiest RPOs that you ever seen in your life.
So everybody heard that. Be ready for Under the Headset. Always good, detailed, and I promise that Lionel will be able to put it on the screen better than me and have Coach Norton still be there. Because somehow I made you disappear, but I don't know.
They probably were tired of seeing me anyway. I'm good.
Well, now Darius wanted to see you some more, so he was like, put Coach back so we know. But yeah, that's pretty good. But I do like your breakdown of best defenders. And back when you were doing the defense at PV, they were those were some grungy dudes. That was a stiff defense. Like to see where this one goes as well, this defense. But we'll find out what our defense made of with Alabama State because they've been scoring a lot of points, but it seemed like we like to ugly up a game. So we'll see if we can ugly them up too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, and we were talking about earlier, and look, me and my wife, we joke about football and coaching and stuff all the time. So she was like, "You're not gonna you laughing about the Southern loss. You're not gonna put a bag on your head." Look, I'm saying I might put a trash bag on my head, a drawstring trash bag with no holes in it. We joke about stuff. I say, man, fentanyl is an option or something like that. So, but we always laugh about football and just just how it affects our daily lives, how we can make it better for the next group of people. How it affects. People always want to fire somebody, but what have you done to help that guy be a successful coach? That's what I look at. I can look at every coach in the past, I would say 10 years that has been at Southern University. I have helped that guy be a successful coach, maybe with my time or money, just whatever, recruits. So let's help these guys be successful coaches because it costs to win these days. So, we could laugh about football and all that type of stuff, but I really want these guys to do well, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and that's one you guys also know kind of enjoy doing the show. I want to send a shout out and prayer to a friend of mine that was in engineering school with me. I got to use it correctly. And we have a fallen Panther I want to mention. My friend Wanda Williams, she was in electrical engineering with me. So she passed away yesterday. It was very heartbreaking for me. We've been friends 44 years. And like Coach Northern says, you meet people at Prairie View that, they become family to you. So I wasn't ready for it. We were making plans for homecoming and everything.
Yeah.
So, man, it's just tough. And she's a Wild Trip class of 79. They probably know her as Wanda Jones. That's her maiden name. But very smart engineer. She would have figured that layout out for me.
Yeah.
She's one of them software people. So, so I'm going to really miss her. Probably put her on my social media. I was trying to not say anything until the family said it was okay. But, lost her last night, and she really liked her Panthers. We were at homecoming together last year. And she went to the championship in 2009, out in that rain, cold, and everything.
It was good and cold and rainy that day.
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I felt like I was a football player because it was cold. And that was the year it was cold for the Grambling PV game, too. I caught the flu after that game. But I got well for homecoming. So, but, yeah, we'll I guess I can finally tear up my bag. Coach Northern, I could have loaned you my bag with the frowny face on it.
Hey, look, just keep it for me because I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing, but like I say, I need to go on a campaign on how to do things the right way because part of the problem is I tell the truth too much. If you ask me about a problem or a question, I'm gonna tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. So, but I really do think as alums, backers of these schools, we can't just sit back and complain and want to fire people, especially you're not trying to, make things better for the coaches, the student athletes, the university, just everybody in particular. So that's it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll definitely keep that in mind, and our minds clear. We'll try to catch you guys a little later. And have a good rest of your evening. And thanks for. Wait a minute. We can't jump off without your sister. Here we go.
Hey man, look, she lucky. She cooked for me. Whenever me and my wife out of town and we come back on Sunday, she usually does cook for us. So I'm gonna let it slide. And then look, Grambling was one of the few teams in the state of Louisiana that won last weekend. So she get a pass. But God forbid, that Bayou Classic, it's gonna get good and raunchy in the northern household.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one there. So we'll ooh, oh, there we go.
Get
And,
ready, baby.
So yeah, we'll be ready for you, sis. Oh yeah, the bike. We need a special recap for the Bayou Classic after that one. And, oh, see, she said no backing down, though, Coach. So you
Oh
better be
no,
ready.
we gonna be all right. Look, I'm gonna do like I tell her. Look, man, my internet about to go out. I'll talk to y'all later, man.
What'd you say? Do the crackling sound? I
Yeah.
can't hear you.
Look, I'm gonna invent an app that go old school. When you press the button, you make the old school hang up sound in your ear. Because people they don't know that. These youngsters don't know that. They need to get that in their life. I'm telling
you. Yeah, that'll work for you. So you guys have a good evening, and we'll catch you guys later. And everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend, and happy homecoming for everybody. And like Jared said, hit your like button on the way out.
Buy a ticket to the game.
Can get a ticket to the game.
Buy it. Don't get it. Buy it.
Yeah, buy that ticket. And at least step in there and yell at somebody or something. Do some yelling and screaming and oh, you know what? I found. Let me show this real quick. I have to share. Oh, stop screen. I have to share my screen real quick for you guys. I think I had it right here. Oh, entire screen. So just so you guys know, this was my last homecoming. So that's my friend that's not gonna see this homecoming that we were promised to be at. But just so you know, she was a Panther through and through. So gonna miss her a lot. And you guys have a good night. And thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Go Panthers.